I'm an optimistic person. I'm not hysterical. I laugh when people say, oh, you've got Trump derangement syndrome. I think if you're a reasonable person, you should have Trump derangement syndrome. Right. And by the way, I think he has derangement syndrome about us, too. The fact of the matter is, this is a dangerous person. This is a stupid person. And that's a bad combination. And I think what we're forgetting, I keep forgetting it, and I have to keep reminding myself, is he's not just running for president. He's running to stay out of prison. And that's a pretty powerful thing. He is literally running for his freedom.
But it seems like everybody sort of manned, for good reason, the sort of the battle stations. Whether you're talking about democracy, you can even look over the past week where Donald Trump's talking about arresting his political opponents.
Yeah.
He tried to pressure Disney because of your jokes.
He believes CBS should have their license revoked.
Because he doesn't like how they edited a 60 Minutes package. How concerned are you about what you do right now may have to change if Donald Trump is reelected?
Well, it won't change. I'm concerned, certainly. I think that it would be so un-American if he were to come after people who are speaking out against him.
Imagine it's 2024, and Donald Trump is on TV, standing tall with his signature spray tan, proudly declaring himself the father of IVF. Meanwhile, in England, the actual pioneers of IVF are probably choking on their tea in disbelief. But wait, it gets even better. Trump's supposed expertise. A whopping 2-minute phone call. That's right, 2 whole minutes with a very attractive person, because apparently nothing says medical expert like a quick chat with a hot senator. Sound familiar? Let's dive into Trump's latest bold claim from a Fox News town hall. He declared himself the father of IVF. Yes, you heard that correctly. Now, the man who might struggle to spell IVF wants everyone to believe he coined the term.
It has been 80 years since Adolf Hitler was a factor in an American presidential election, and now Hitler is back, with Donald Trump quoted praising Adolf Hitler, saying Adolf Hitler did some good things. Donald Trump has not said what those good things are. Donald Trump's response today to his former White House Chief of Staff, Marine Corps General John Kelly, quoting Donald Trump's praise of Hitler, was not to deny the words that John Kelly quoted Donald Trump saying. Donald Trump's response was a written statement simply calling John Kelly, quote, a total degenerate. Donald Trump did not issue a statement saying Hitler did not do some good things. Donald Trump could have issued a statement saying that, but he didn't. Donald Trump knows that he has the American Nazi supporters out there who are going to vote for him. Actual American Nazis. Small sliver of Trump voters, but he needs every one of them. Donald Trump knows that he needs every total degenerate American Nazi voter in every swing state to vote for him. And so Donald Trump cannot afford to lose a single one of them. And that's why he refused to condemn Hitler today and only condemned John Kelly. What are the good things? What are the good things that Hitler did? That is the first question for Donald Trump, for any reporter who is next allowed to ask a question of Trump. What are the good things Hitler did? Hitler is known for attempting to exterminate every Jewish person living in Europe, and he hoped to exterminate every Jew living in the world. Hitler tried to fulfill that ambition by annihilating 6 million men, women, and children. Grandfathers, grandmothers, great-grandfathers, babies. And while Hitler was at it in those death camps, in combat, Hitler killed as many American soldiers as he possibly could. Adolf Hitler introduced the idea of bombing civilian populations from the air that had no military strategic objective. He killed men, women, and children in London that way. Adolf Hitler was from start to finish a raving madman who committed suicide when he knew he had lost World War II. What good things?
What would you say when he said to you that Hitler did a lot of good things?
Well, I tell him that. I said, first of all, you should never say that. But if you knew what Hitler was all about from the beginning to the end, everything he did was in support of his racist, fascist life, philosophy, so that nothing he did, you could argue, was good.
The next reporter to ask Donald Trump a question must ask him, what good things did Hitler do? Reporters must also ask Donald Trump what bad things Hitler did. And watch how reluctant Donald Trump will be to publicly condemn Hitler, because Donald Trump fears losing a single vote from a single degenerate American Nazi. Donald Trump has been quoted by multiple sources saying he wished he had Hitler's generals. Jeffrey Goldberg reported more of Donald Trump's praise of Hitler and his generals in a piece in The Atlantic yesterday under the headline, "Trump, I need the kind of generals that Hitler had." Hitler's generals were murderous anti-Semites who were also the worst generals fighting World War II in Europe. Hitler's generals were wrong about how to fight the war, and they lost every major battle against the great American generals who Donald Trump dishonors with his perverse anti-Semitic praise of Hitler and Hitler's generals. And Hitler's generals conspired repeatedly to assassinate Adolf Hitler, but because they were incompetent, Hitler's generals failed in every attempt to assassinate Adolf Hitler. But Donald Trump wants Hitler's generals. He doesn't want Franklin Roosevelt's generals, the generals who actually won World War II.
Donald Trump, never one for subtlety, decided to sharpen his rhetorical knives once again at a rally in Georgia. This time, the target was Vice President Kamala Harris, whom he characterized with the delicate grace of a sledgehammer. "This woman is crazy," Trump thundered in what sounded more like a WE promo than a political speech. He urged the audience to tell Harris, "You're the worst ever." This from a man whose entire political strategy revolves around constructing superlatives out of thin air. According to Trump, she can't put two sentences together, though the irony of this statement from someone whose speeches often resemble a blender stuck on ramble mode might have been lost on him. He continued to dismantle Harris's intelligence with the same finesse as a wrecking ball, calling her a low IQ individual, and suggesting her CBS interview was straight out of a loony bin. Trump may as well have pulled out a world's worst VP mug and handed it to Harris with a smirk. The classic Trump technique, hurl enough playground insults and hope they stick. But don't worry, this wasn't the main event. We were just getting warmed up for Trump's grand finale of grievances. Act 2, the plot thickens. Allegations, Hitler, and Google, my. Amidst the verbal fireworks, there was a not-so-little detail. A fresh sexual misconduct allegation against Trump. Stacey Williams, a former model, accused him of groping her at Trump Tower in the 90s after a friendly introduction by none other than Jeffrey Epstein, the matchmaker of nightmares. According to Williams, this creepy interaction felt like part of a twisted game between Trump and Epstein. The Trump camp, of course, issued the expected denial faster than Trump could say fake news. Now, this was hardly the first time Trump has faced such allegations, more like the 24th, but in true Teflon Don fashion, he shifted focus from this serious accusation to a more pressing matter: Google. Yes, the search engine titan had somehow earned his ire. Google is treating us much better, Trump mused cryptically, which raises the question, who is us? And why are we so obsessed with how a search engine feels about us? Is Trump hoping for a 5-star Yelp review from Google? Or is he angling for a new career in tech, post-politics? No one knows. Act 3, Macron, McDonald's, and the magic of meandering. Trump's Georgia speech took some scenic detours, including a sudden tribute to McDonald's, because why not? McDonald's was one of the most viewed things that Google ever had, he shared, as though we all have a secret file in Google labeled Top 10 Fast Food Chains I've Googled at 2 a.m. It's always McDonald's with Trump. The man is truly committed to his golden arches. He then shifted gears to announce he had stopped wars with France, a claim so bold that even Napoleon probably spit out his wine somewhere in the afterlife. And just as we were trying to digest that, Trump lobbed a few stray shots at Richard Nixon, claiming Nixon's big mistake was taping every single conversation. Yes, because in Trump's universe, the problem with Watergate wasn't the crime, it was the lack of discretion. Act 4, Kamala the fascist and Trump the godly. Meanwhile, Harris wasn't taking these attacks lying down. In a speech in Washington, she fired back, labeling Trump a fascist who thirsts for unchecked power. You'd think being called a fascist might ruffle Trump's feathers, but at this point, it's like calling Dracula a night owl. Even Trump's former chief of staff, John Kelly, chimed in, confirming that Trump had, in fact, praised Hitler for doing some good things, which, in case anyone was wondering, is not something you want to hear from a former U.S. president. Trump's defense? Silence on Kelly, but a roaring flame war on Truth Social where he called his ex-chief of staff a lowlife and a degenerate. Classic Trump. Kelly's revelations about Trump's admiration for Hitler somehow got buried beneath the avalanche of insults and conspiracy theories, like they were just another Tuesday in Trump world. But the pièce de résistance came when Trump, at a faith-focused town hall, offered his theological musings. When you believe in God, it's a big advantage over people that don't have that. Move over, theologians. Trump has officially cracked the code of faith. He then proceeded to compare his numerous legal investigations to those faced by Al Capone, because naturally, when in doubt, always fall back on comparing yourself to America's most notorious gangster. Faith and felony charges. What a combo. Act 5, conclusion. The never-ending Trump show. So here we are. Trump's latest rally was a chaotic cocktail of personal insults, absurd claims, and thinly veiled attempts to rewrite history. It was like watching someone try to juggle flaming torches while riding a unicycle on a tightrope, except instead of applause, there's just a national sigh of exhaustion. In the end, Trump's gift for insult comedy might make him an honorary member of the Comedy Central roast circuit, but his attacks on Harris and his endless legal troubles highlight something more troubling. This spectacle isn't just entertaining, it's the stuff of nightmares. Because as we laugh, somewhere in the background, democracy might be tripping over its shoelaces. But hey, at least we'll have McDonald's, right?